Hi, welcome to 30 Second Success Connect, where we introduce entrepreneurs and professionals who love to connect and lead with their hearts. I'm Laura Templeton, founder and CEO of 30 Second Success, and with me today is Justin Kendter. Justin he assists people 65 years and older with their Medicare questions and their needs. So Justin, it always amazes me when I think about that. I'm like, that is so specific, right? I love that you're doing that. And so tell us a little bit about that. Like how did you get started in that particular arena?
Yeah, sure. No, definitely. First, thank you, for having me on and taking the time to ask a few of these questions. I love being able to express, different ways that people can start a business, enhance it, and also, build that relationship with individuals. But what you mentioned, that's kind of interesting. I'm younger, I'm 30, I'll be 31 soon. So a lot of people are like, why Medicare? I mean, that seems like such a interesting step to take. But what was funny was I actually started working with a financial advisor when I was about 21 or so, around that age. And I got to see how he worked with a lot of his clients, how he was able to do things that fit their needs, that allowed them to live a life that they wanted to live, and to really have that financial freedom to enjoy that life. And one of the things I noticed is as he was meeting with his clients was there were a lot of people that were getting to that retirement age, which obviously that was his goal to help them, and they were turning 65, and retirement's a big aspect, but they're most likely no longer working. So that means they no longer have their insurance through their work. So that I started hearing the clients ask, what about Medicare? How can I start that process? And there wasn't really an option available. So I got my license. I surprised him with that, my life health license. And then from there, I went into Medicare to help him with that need. So that's kind of how I got started in that aspect. I helped him with his clients. I still help him with his clients. And then I started to build my own rapport with individuals and through mailers, networking, and things like that.
And I absolutely love that. I love that you saw a need, saw a niche that you were able to fill. And it is such a valuable service. And I've been blessed because I don't know if I told you this or not, but my mom and dad and my uncle absolutely love you.
Oh, that's good to
They
hear.
told me they learned so much from sitting with you about, Medicare. Yes, my mom and dad are retired for several years now, but my uncle's facing retirement now, and he just needed some direction and was very blessed to have a great conversation with you. So thank you for taking care of my
Oh, and
family.
of course.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
that's what
Appreciate that.
networking is really about. It's about taking care of one another and taking, like the folks that you meet, like how can you help one another, but more importantly, going beyond yourself, right? It's, like as
Mhm.
soon as I met you, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to introduce you to my mom and dad. And then my mom was like, well, can your uncle come and sit in on this? I'm like, sure. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, it worked out great. Yeah, it was a
yeah.
pleasure to meet them. And that's one of the things I found helpful is I try to educate people first because there's a lot of moving aspects of it. There's a lot of pieces and there's a lot of life circumstances that are for that individual. So I like to be able to, give them the knowledge first, and then that way they can make that decision for themselves. So it
Right.
was great meeting them. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and and that whole Medicare, Medicaid piece of it, they have to evaluate that like every year. Like, who knew there were so many different options? Well, obviously you do,
Yeah.
but most
I've
people
learned that.
don't.
Yeah.
Like I don't think about it. Like, my husband and I are in our 50s, and it's something. Yeah, in 10 years' time, we're gonna have to think about that, and it'll be a whole new experience of okay, now I thought I was done having to look at my insurance options every year. Now I have new
Mhm.
ones. So,
Right.
and they change every year, right?
Yes, so depending on, what type of plan, there can be changes every year. That's why with my clients, I like to get together with them, even if it's just a phone call once a year. I always tell them, we have a lifelong relationship as long as you allow me to continue assisting you. And that I review it each year because there are changes. There are things that change even on the government side. So being up to date, but then also relaying that information to them and being proactive that if there is something better or available for them, that they're able to make that adjustment and to gain those extra benefits.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing to me all the different parts and pieces of that, those plans that are available. So thank you for taking care of those folks. And
Of course.
you mentioned something really interesting that I would love to touch on. You mentioned that you actually do something very unique in the way that you use a lot of mailer marketing. You do a lot of marketing
Mhm.
through mailers, through the mail, through email, things like that. And that's how you get a lot of clients, but more importantly, that's how you build your network. So share with me a little bit about how you've been able to effectively connect with your audience and growing that network.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it is definitely a unique market. You know, it's not like I can be on Instagram or Facebook, you know, and post a link and everybody's on there, you know, viewing that. But one of the things with mailers that is interesting is it allows me to reach out to individuals, like you said. And anybody that's ever started their own business or that has tried to grow a business, you know, it's not one of those things you just flip a closed to open sign and all of a sudden your door's open and it's rushed with individuals. You have to put yourself out there at first. And that's one of the things that mailers helped me to do was when I was first starting, and I still utilize them to this day, is it allowed me to put myself out there, to get to know individuals in the community and to be able to help them. And what's interesting, sometimes mailers do really well. You're able to reach a large number of people, and there's other times that, hey, that month, you know, you maybe only got 1 or 2 from it. But the point is that even when you get that first one, what it grows into is really something that's amazing. You could start off with just 1 from that mailer, and before you know it, because of referrals, because you did the job well, it's expanded to 10 people. So it's a nice aspect to be able to reach out to individuals, and it's a tool that not a lot of companies are using anymore. Some still are, and for this aspect, for my line of work, it's really been helpful. I actually have ones going out right now, even during this, you know, current situation. So it's been very helpful.
That's great. Now, do you, I guess 2 questions came out of that. Do you, when you work with clients, do you actually ask for referrals?
I actually don't know. One, there's the regulation side of it, which has been relaxed, but 2, I like to think that if I do a good enough job, if I'm able to assist them and make an impact and a change in their life that basically took a complicated process and turned it into something easy, something that they could understand, something that worked out in their benefit, well, then that will speak for itself. So no, usually I do not ask for referrals. I like to think that if I do a good enough job and I help them enough, then they'll feel freely enough to speak about me.
Yeah, you know, and that's you know, that's a beautiful thing, right? And we love when people just share us with their community, and folks in you know, in that older generation, they really they love when someone helps them. They really show the love by sharing you with other people. So that speaks volumes that folks are willing to do that for your work. So good job. You know, so, and I guess, yeah. You know, and I think that's a big thing, you know, like you, but I also was curious, do you partner with, you mentioned that the financial advisor that you worked for, so do you partner with a lot of financial advisors in working with their clients?
Yeah, I actually have a few that have used me, their clients, you know, when they're getting to that retirement age, that's usually the next question because they have their financial aspect covered. The next question is, what about my health insurance? Because if a lot of people that are self-employed, they know how expensive health insurance can be in their years as they're working up to that retirement age. So that's usually the next question is, how am I going to pay for insurance? How am I going to get insurance that allows me to live the life I want to live while I'm retired without breaking the bank? So it's kind of that next phase. So yeah, I've had success with other financial advisors using me in that respect and having their clients reach out to me. I actually just one a few months ago, I was able to help with him and his wife as they approach that time in their life. So it's been a nice kind of joint effort in helping these individuals to get to that point in their life that they want to be at.
So I guess that, you know, that and that's interesting that you know, you wind up when you network with people, right? A lot of times they want to refer you to other folks, but eventually they wind up using you for themselves, and that's even more beneficial. So you know, you and I met only recently through LITIP International. What kind of drew you to joining LITIP? Was there, you know, or just talk about that. I think that's important.
Yeah, I will say it was kind of a selfish reason in the sense I liked the fact that there were so many different businesses in there and that, you know, we all have needs, we all have challenges that come up in our life. And there's always that question, who do I call? Who do I get in touch with that I can trust, that I can know will do the right job? And that was one of the things I kind of liked was I was able to meet these individuals. I was able to see their work ethic once a week, how they presented themselves and how that really correlated to their business. And that was kind of the main thing I was drawn to right away, was how much I liked seeing that aspect of it. And just people out there grinding, trying to, help individuals, trying to grow that business. It was something that was really encouraging and really cool for me to be able to see, and actually even motivated me. I know the one we had last week, it motivated me to implement some things into my own business that I saw other people. So that was kind of the first aspect that I really liked of it. But it's also been a great tool in being able to talk to individuals, having them be able to get to know you, see what you're offering, see how you can help individuals, and then be able to help either themselves or people in their own life. So it's been a really nice experience in that sense. And it really shows to me, as somebody that was just starting a few years before then and growing their business, the power of networking and how much that can kind of start to balloon, so to speak. Once you get a few names, it keeps growing. So it's been an enormous and really helpful tool in not only growing my business, but continuing to service my existing clients.
I know it's so funny. For those of you out there who don't know what LATIP is, which surprises the heck out of me, LATIP International is an organization that actually is based solely or specifically on referral partners. It's an organization that they do have guidelines around how many referrals you need to provide in a month, but they need to be genuinely authentic, really qualified referrals. And it's a way to help other business owners really elevate their business. It is industry exclusive, so you have to find a chapter that does not have somebody who's already taken your category. So it's very interesting, but you can start very quickly to see the connections within the group of who has very similar clients, who can service one another. For instance, with Justin, there's a financial advisor in the group, there's attorneys in the group, there's a lot of different folks that can help grow your business. So it's always amazing to me to see how folks really do view one another within the group of, okay, how can I help them? And that there's so much to be said for that in that networking environment. But specifically LATIP, it's really like, okay, who can I help? How can I help them? What do I need? Who can I connect you with, right? And I think there's a lot of benefit there. Again, that was one of those things like, oh, my mom and dad need Justin, so as soon as I met you, I was like, yeah, we need to get you in touch with my mom and dad. And just, I think that's such a benefit. So it's the whole networking piece. Yeah. So do you network with any other organizations or any groups outside of LATIP?
No, not so much in that aspect. I do have a marketing organization that I work with that helps me with the mailers, that keeps me up to date on the changes, the companies that assist, because I'm what's referred to as a broker, and that I don't represent just one company. I represent all the major ones in the area. So they've worked with me and helped me in developing that aspect of it. And what's nice with that is I get to talk to other people that are in the same line of work. I get to see what's working for them, how they've been able to help their own clients. So while it's not so much getting business or getting individuals from that, it's more how I can help people better by the information that I'm able to receive that. So that's been a great tool in just keeping up to date and being able to have kind of that edge and knowing what's coming up. And then I'm able to then pass that along to my clients, who are then able to have that edge too, of knowing how to adapt and how to implement those new changes.
That's really great. So when you're mentioning your clients, are there different services that you find within your network that might be beneficial for them? Like for instance, Jason Oz talks about having like a prearranged funeral plans so that you can actually pay for it. It's all done. You don't have to worry about it. It's all set. Your arrangements, you arrange it. Is that something that you talk with, then you can actually share, Jason, with your clients?
That's not something I focus too much on, and because there's one, that's a whole nother area, and two, a lot of times when I'm assisting those financial advisors, they have a plan already in place that can assist them in that aspect. So as of right now, I've just been focusing on helping them in their insurance aspect. There is different areas, there's final expense insurance, things like that they can get that can assist them. If they do have questions on that, or if they do want more information, I will assist them with that and be able to help them to understand how that too works. But usually when I go into an appointment or a meeting with a client, usually the focus is on helping them with their insurance in the beginning and to make that big adjustment.
That's really great. Yeah, and and there's so much value in what you're bringing, just even listening for what their needs are, right? And I think
Definitely.
that's so important, especially when they're so, sometimes folks get really focused on what their struggle is in the moment, in the present, but a lot of times they share little tidbits of needs that they might have elsewhere. And when we can position ourselves as someone, hey, I know someone that might be able to help you with that, it's a perfect opportunity. And that's, that's what networking is really about, is just sharing the folks that we know and we trust with the folks that we love. So, and the people that we serve. Yeah, so share with me, it's so funny because I want to ask you about social media, but you really don't use social media for your business, right?
No, not yet. That is something that in the future obviously will be coming more available and more of a resource. Facebook kind of seems like the one that would fit that category the best as of right now. But again, I have to, I don't want to put out any information that may be taken the wrong way. So that's why I kind of don't use social media so much, because of the regulations in reference to Medicare and Social Security and things like that. So there's an approval process to be able to use different marketing materials on there. So I've stayed away from that for the most part.
Gotcha. And I never really thought about that, because you're kind of, you have to follow very similar guidelines to that the insurance agents have to follow, correct?
Yeah, it's actually more. So one, you need your first exam that you have to keep updated every 2 years, which is your life and health exam. But then two, there's an annual, they call it an AHIP exam, which allows you to be able to represent Medicare basically. And that's 50 questions, 90% or higher. You need 3 attempts or you're out for the year. So a little stressful during that portion, but that's once a year just to be able to be licensed to assist people. But then for each company that you represent is another whole test process, 90% or higher, 3 attempts. And it kind of just goes on the train. So usually from September to end August, I'm just sitting in my office, hunkered down, studying, taking tests, and getting ready for the following year. So it's a little more in that aspect, that each year there's an overwhelming almost amount of tests to do.
Gotcha. That's good to know. But it's all for the safety of your clients, correct? Because things change so much.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. And they don't want people just giving false information. They don't want people giving wrong information. So while it is, not the most fun thing to do, sitting down, who likes taking a test? Some people, I guess, not me personally, but, it is letting me know what's happening next year. It is going over the rules, the regulations, and things like that. So while it can be an annoyance, it's also a great reminder and great tool that allows me to keep up to date and making sure I'm servicing my clients to my fullest ability.
That's wonderful. No, and I appreciate that that shows that you put so much effort into what you do, and that you really love helping your clients. So that's important, and I'm sure they see that. They see that in what you do and what you deliver. So
yeah,
thank you so much.
Tests.
So how can people connect with you if we are not necessarily able to find you on social media? What's the best way for folks to connect with you?
I have old-fashioned website. It's up to date, but it's a website. I have a phone number through texting, email, and over the phone. So that's usually the best way. It trails a little bit in what the newest way of reaching out to people is. So text messaging is starting to become more common in my line right now, which
okay.
it's a little older, but more clients are starting to text message. I actually just started implementing Zoom due to the current crisis that we're in. So usually the first 10 minutes is tech support, and then I'm able to go
tech support.
on with my presentation.
Who knew?
Right? Yeah, I'm also tech support now, so.
Zoom tech support. All right, so what I'll do is I'll make sure that at the end of the video, I'm gonna make sure that I include your email and your phone number so folks can get in touch with you. That way, if they do have questions about Medicare, Medicaid, insurance, you can answer those. It's Medicare, it's not Medicaid, right? It's Medicare.
Yeah, Medicaid's another aspect. Yeah, Medicare is fine. That'll cover.
So it's Medicare. So I'll make sure that folks know how to find you. So thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate you jumping on and sharing your insights about networking and the whole different perspective about using mailers to connect with your audience, and then those folks connecting you with more people. So it's just amazing to talk about how networking works, right? And delivering good service is what's going to get you into the door, to the next door. So thank you so much for being here. Remember to subscribe to 30 Second Success Connect for more videos and share us with your friends. Thanks for being here, Justin. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Take care.